Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Mr. Asad is with you, and today we'll be talking about very interesting topic, which is conditionals. So guys, as you know, there are a lot of conditionals, different types of conditionals, and most of you, I think, have some problems when it comes to using this structure. And I hope this lesson is going to be really helpful for those who have some problems, who have some questions in conditionals. I will try to explain all of them um, one by one, right? And at the end of the lesson, you'll be able to use these conditionals in your speech, in your writing, God willing. So I will try to do my best and let's get started. So guys, firstly, I want to say how many conditionals we have. And before I say, I want to ask you a question. What do you think? How many conditionals we have? Try to guess, say it out loud, and I will tell you the correct answer a bit later. So, guys, what do you think? How many conditionals there are? Okay, actually, there are four main conditionals most of people know, and we have one more as well, which is mixed conditionals. So we have zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. And we have mixed conditionals as well. Most of you guys, I think, don't know this, but we will be talking about this during this lesson. So firstly, I want you to pay attention to these sentences. Just read them and try to understand the meaning, okay? Try to analyze these sentences. Try to find the differences between these conditionals, right? Don't worry if you don't understand. That is totally okay because we'll be looking through all these conditionals one by one, okay? Firstly, just read them and try to understand. Okay, you have, let's say, 30 seconds, or you may just stop the video and you may read the sentences, right? I think it's better. So we have here zero, first and second conditional, and here we have third and mixed conditionals as well. Mixed conditionals contain two different conditionals, right? They have their own function, and we'll talk about this, okay? Just for now, just read the sentences, try to find the patterns, okay? You may stop the video and you may read. So, guys, we have here a brief summary about conditionals. Firstly, let's find an answer. What are conditionals, right? Conditionals are types of sentences which usually contain two parts, right? Two clauses. First one is condition clause. Some people say if clause. And the second one is result clause. We change something in reality, either in reality or in our imagination, and we see the result of that change. For example, if you study hard, it's a condition, right? I mean, the person might not be studying so hard, and someone is saying, okay, Mr. someone else, let's say Mr. John, if you study hard, you will pass your exams. You see, we have here first clause, which is condition clause, and we have here result clause. You will pass your exams. So it's a brief summary of conditional. In any conditional, we have two parts, two clauses, right? Condition clause and result clause. We change something in condition clause and we see the result either in imaginary, either, or let's say in real situations. Anyways, we have two parts of the sentence. So here we have sample sentence, right? If you study hard, you will pass your exams. You will pass your exams if you study hard. You see, we can change the order of clauses. Sometimes if clause comes first, sometimes the other clause comes first. But the meaning is identical. The meaning doesn't change. It's always the same. It's always the same. The only thing we change the order of the clauses, and we have here small, let's say very minor punctuation rule. Not so minor, I would say, because it's really important in your writing. So please pay attention to this. Here we should have comma if comes clause first. If condition clause comes first, right, which contains the word if, here we should use comma. But you see, if it comes second at the end of the sentence, we don't need to use comma. You see, that is the only punctuation difference. Okay, I hope you got it, guys. And now let's look through each conditional one by one. So first, zero conditional, right? Firstly, we'll talk about zero conditional. We use the zero conditional to talk about things that are generally true, especially for laws and rules. So let's look at the sample sentences. If water reaches 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. So it is what? What is that? It's a fact. You see, for fact, we are using zero conditional. In both parts of the sentence, we have what kind of tense? Okay, guys, you may answer. We'll see the structure a bit later. So if it doesn't rain, plants don't grow. It's also generally true. You see, when we talk about the things which are generally true, we use zero conditional. So here is a girl and her name is Helen. And you may make a sentence with Helen and you may leave your sentence in the comment section. I will try to check your sentences and I will try to leave my own feedback. Okay, guys, so now try to guess the structure of this conditional and stop the video, try to guess. I will show you in a second. So this is the structure of zero conditional. We should use either if or when. You see, we can use them interchangeably. Then after this, in the conditional, in condition clause, we use present simple. And in result clause, again, we should use present simple. Please, guys, try to pay attention. For the we use this conditional for the things which are generally true, okay? Especially for laws and rules. We don't use are possibly happen in the future, okay? Most of you guys, most of my students, you will make mistakes, which they usually confuse zero conditional and first conditional. So now we'll be looking at the zero conditional as well. Then I hope we will talk again the difference between zero and first conditional. So here we have first conditional. First conditional, we use the first conditional when we talk about future situations we believe are real or possible. You see, that's the main difference between first and zero conditional. First conditional we use for the possible future actions, right? For possible future situations, but not for the actions that are generally true, or let's say for laws and rules, we don't use the first conditional. So let's look at the sample sentences. I'll give you a key in case I'm not at home. You see, which tenses we are using in condition clause and which tenses we are using in result clause. Try to pay attention to this. I will give you a key in case I'm not at home. Just stop the video, think about it for a while and continue watching it. So I don't want to stay in London unless I get a well-paid job. Okay, this is also first conditional. And here we are talking about possible future situation, right? So here again, we have Helen, and again, you may make a sentence and you may leave in the comment section. So guys, as you noticed, we use it here other, let's say, words instead of if. Here we used in case, here we used unless. So it's possible in first conditional to use these, let's say, phrases instead of if, right? Unless it means if not, right? We can translate, I mean, we can paraphrase this sentence in a bit different way. I don't want to stay in London if I don't, you see, unless equals to if not. Unless if, I'm sorry. I don't want to stay in London if I don't get a well-paid job. You see, instead of unless, we can use if not, if I don't, right? So unless means if not, in case means like if I am in that situation, it means in case, okay? You see, instead of in case, you can say if I am in that situation, like you should show kind of possible situation, right? I'll give you a key, I mean key in case I'm not at home. You see, it's one of the possible future situation that might happen and you are using instead of if, in case. If you guys know Uzbek language, it's going to be equal to mabodo, right? So you can make a sentence with this goal again for the first conditional, and the main difference between first conditional and zero conditional, guys, don't forget zero conditional we use for only what? For the things that are generally true. For example, facts, laws, and rules, right? And the first conditional we use for the future situations, right? So when I usually ask my students to make a sentence with this rule for with zero conditional, they say what? They say, if Helen studies hard, she becomes a good girl or something like that, right? So, but it's not zero conditional. Even they are using present simple in both clauses, it's not, guys, zero conditional in terms of meaning, because it's what? It's possible future situation, because if she studies hard, she will become a good girl. She doesn't always, like repeatedly become a good girl, I mean, it's not kind of situation or action that always happens, it should be a bit different. For example, when she has free time, Helen always reads a book. It is something that's generally true. It's kind of fact, or it's not necessarily a rule, but kind of fact, I would say. It's generally true. That is zero conditional. But your sentence, if your sentence has the meaning of the future, it's not zero conditional anymore. If there is possible future action, it's not zero conditional. You should use first conditional, guys. I hope you got it. So let's move on to the next conditional. Second conditional, the second conditional is use it to imagine present or future situations, right? So let's read this sentence. If I had a lot of money, I would probably travel to America. So are we talking, guys, about past in this sentence? Just stop the video and give a think. No, guys, we're not talking about past. We are talking about present situation, right? And we are imagining our future, right? What would I do if I had a lot of money? I'm just imagining it. It's not real. It's just imaginary. It's much more, like more likely not to happen. So in this case, I use second conditional. So don't forget, guys, each conditional has its own function. If you understand the factions very well, the structures are not going to be problem. The students, like most made mistake by students when it comes to conditionals, not understanding the function of conditionals clearly. That's why they make a lot of mistakes. They might not have many mistakes with structures. Sometimes they have, of course, but most of the time they have the problem with the function of conditionals. You should fully understand the function of them, right? When we use them, in what cases, in what situations, for what tense. For example, second conditional we never use for past situations. Imagine something happened in your life and it has already happened in the past, and you cannot use the second conditional for it, second conditional we use for present and for the future, for unreal, let's say, situations, right? So when if person says, if I had a lot of money, I would probably travel to America. So the person is just imagining. The meaning behind this sentence is that that person doesn't have a lot of money. Yeah, in his situation, he doesn't have a lot of money. It's real, but he's imagining, if I had a lot of money, I would probably travel to America. So you see, we use this conditional for imaginary situations. So let's look at the next sentence. I wouldn't worry if I were you. So there is another rule as well. You see, instead of what, instead of was, we are using here were, and it's totally okay. And we should do it, in the second conditional. So guys, now stop the video and try to make the structure, okay? Uh, Analyze the sentences in what kind of tense we are using in condition clause and what kind of tense we are using in result clause. Give it a think, and a second later, I will show the structure. So by the way, you can make a sentence with this picture again and leave in the comment sections. So here we are. We have here structure. In this conditional, we use if, not when, right? Here we use if. If plus past simple. As you can see, if I had a lot of money, would plus infinitive. You see, I would probably travel. Travel is infinitive, the first form of the word. And we have here a second rule as well. Instead of was, we can use were. I were, if he were, if she were, if it were, and it's totally okay. So let's move on to the next conditional, which is third conditional, right? So guys, let's look at this sentence. We wouldn't have got lost if my phone hadn't run out of battery. So what do you think, guys, which tense we are using here? Unlike to second conditional, here in the third conditional, we are talking about the situation which happened in the past, okay? Not in present, not future, but the situation which happened in the past, okay? That's the key difference. Don't forget about this, guys. Something happened in the past, and we are changing something which have already happened in the past, and we see the result. Result also has already happened in the past. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I think I talked a lot. Okay. Anyways, so the third conditional is used to imagine a different past. We imagine a change in a past situation and the different result of that change. The result also happened in the past, guys. It's not related to present, not related to future, only past. Both clauses, right? Condition clause, okay, it happened in the past. Result clause, it happened in the past. Okay, let's read the sentence one more time. We wouldn't have got lost if my phone hadn't run out of battery. You see, the meaning behind this sentence is that my phone had run out of battery, so we got lost. It is the meaning behind of that sentence, right? So, but I'm changing. I'm saying what? If my phone hadn't run out of battery, it's not real, right? I mean, I'm just imagining. We wouldn't have got lost. Okay, next sentence. You would have passed your exam if you had worked harder. You see, you would have instead of would have, we can say would have, right? You would have passed your exam if you had worked harder. So, guys, try to guess the meaning behind this sentence. Just stop the video. Think about it. So the meaning behind this sentence is that like the guy, whoever is talking the sentence, saying the sentence, didn't what study hard, right? If you had worked harder, you would have passed your exam. So he didn't work hard. That's why he hadn't worked hard enough, and that's why he couldn't pass the exam. The meaning behind this sentence is that, you see, I just, okay, if you didn't get it, just go back like few seconds and listen my sentence one more time. So guys, now it's your turn to make a sentence with this picture again and try to guess the structure as well. So here we have structure, if, past perfect, right? In condition clause, we use past perfect. And in the result clause, we use would have, would have plus past participle, the third form of the word. Okay, guys, continue. Here we have mixed conditionals. And I want to mention you something. If you are overloaded with new information already, please, guys, stop the video here. Just try to digest the first part of the video. Then after some time, you may continue with the rest of the video, okay? Because there is too much information. If you are just learning conditionals, if you have never like seen these rules, it might be a bit hard for you. So that's why just stop, just relax, try to digest the previous information. Then after this, you may continue with the rest of the video. So guys, let's go back to the lesson, right? Mixed conditionals. We can use mixed conditionals when we imagine a past change with a result in the present, or a present change with a result in the past. I know, guys, a lot of you now thinking, what about this guy is talking? What is that? You're just confused. You're thinking a lot, probably, right? You're worried. You might probably be asking yourself like, why I started learning English, right? It might seem a bit difficult, but don't worry, guys. It's easy peasy. Just try to understand the function. So past change with a result in the present. So we change something in the past. Imagine you couldn't pass the exam, right? You just change that thing, right? If I had passed my exam, and you talk about present situation. Why we call them mixed conditional? Because we mix second and third conditional. For the if clause, we use second conditional. For the result clause, we use third conditional. And in the another one, for the if clause, we use third conditional. For the result clause, we use second conditional. So that's it. It's so easy. Something we change in the past, and we see the result in present. So if I had passed my exam, I would be in, let's say, America right now. So the meaning behind this sentence is that I'm not in America right now because I couldn't pass my exam. You see, guys, that's easy peasy. So let's look at the sample sentences. If I had worked harder at school, meaning the guy didn't work hard enough, right? I would have a better job now. And now he doesn't have a good job. You see something? We see the change in the past and we see the result in present. That's it. That is the first type of the conditional. So past change with a result in the present. We are talking about this. If you had crashed the car, you might be in trouble. So thanks God, the guy didn't crash his car and he's not in trouble right now, which is really good. You see? That is the functionality. This is the function of the first type of mixed conditional, right? If you pay attention to this, here in the if part, we use it what? Which tense? Past perfect, right? Which is from which conditional? Third conditional, right? And in the result clause, we use it would infinitive, which is from which conditional? Second conditional. You see, that's why we call them mixed conditional. And now it's your turn to make a sentence with Helen. We will continue with the other type of mixed conditional, right? Present change, and now we change something in the present, and we see the result in the past, right? So the structure is if plus past simple, would have past participle. Look at the sentences, right? If I wasn't afraid of spiders, it means I'm afraid of spiders. I would have picked it up. I am afraid of spiders. That's why I didn't pick up, let's say, the spider. You see, I didn't pick up. It happened in the past. Imagine there was a, what is that? Spider, and I didn't pick it up because I am afraid of it. You see, I'm changing something in present and I see the result in the past. So the next one, if I were a good cook, meaning I'm not a good cook. If I were, I'm talking about present, right? I'm changing the situation in present. I'd have, you see, like instead of I would have, we can say I'd have invited them to lunch. I'd. Okay, if I were a good cook, I'd have invited them to lunch. It means I didn't invite them to lunch because I'm not a good cook. But if I were a good cook, I'd have invited them to lunch. Okay, guys, if you know Uzbek language, I will give you a sentence in Uzbek language to make it more understandable, right? So sometimes we say, why? Nimadir bilganim dedi, allaqachon qilib bo'lardim deymiz-ku. Nomerini bilganimda, allaqachon u kishi bilan bog'lanib, vaziyatni tushuntirardim, misol uchun. Bu degani nomerini bilmaysiz va u ishni qilmagansiz o'tgan zamonda. Agar bilganingizda allaqachon telefon qilib bo'lardingiz. For these cases we can use this type of mixed conditional, right? So guys, as usual, it's your turn to make a sentence. Please make a sentence and leave in the comment section. I try to pay attention to all of them. I'll try to correct if you have some mistakes. Okay, it's a good chance for you to practice. You watch the video at the same time you practice your English, which is really good. So guys, here we have something. We are done with all the conditionals. We looked through the structures and we looked through the functions, right? It's better to make some notes. It's really good in your learning journey if you take notes during the lessons. Okay, here we have something to remember. As in all conditional sentences, the order of the clauses is not fixed. As in all conditional sentences, the order of the clauses is not fixed. We talked about this, guys. You may have to rearrange the pronouns and adjust punctuation when you change punctuation, which is comma, right? When you change the order of the clauses, but the meaning is identical. We have already talked about this. So even we change the order of the clauses, the meaning doesn't change, right? So, but there is one punctuation rule. If clause comes first, we should use here comma. If it comes at the end of the sentence, we don't have to use comma. Okay, that's it. So guys, if you have any questions, it's question time. You may leave your questions in comment section. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. And feel free. Any kind of questions related to English, not only related to conditionals. If you want me to make other videos about other grammar topics, you may leave those topics as well. I will try to make videos. I'll try to explain them. And please share the video if you have any friends who have some problems with conditionals, right? It might be helpful, it might be beneficial for both sides. Okay, guys, your homework is making 3 sentences for each conditional. Please try it in order not to forget what you have already learned, right? So, and if you enjoyed the lesson, you can find more lessons in my Telegram channel, which is whose username is Asadbek Kolashev. Here you can see on the screen. And if you like the video, please like it and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Mr. Asadbek was with you, and see you next lessons. Take care, guys. Bye bye.